right, it's Bruno and MB, and I got my good friend Doug Ford from Communica, celebrating 20 years in business. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Not very many people make it through 20 minutes these days.
It's true. 20 years is quite an accomplishment, and it's due to many different factors. But number one is your people. We are a service company. We're not manufacturing widgets. We're manufacturing ideas, and so the strength of the company is the bedrock of its employees. And we've had some incredible employees over the last 20 years, and they've added just terrific value to our clients.
Well, we were talking about culture here. You don't get to 20 years without a good culture. Walk me through the number one thing that you've done, numero uno, to create a culture of people wanting to stay here, and also a culture that companies want to do business with you.
The number one thing is attitude. I have a very...
Hey, that's the first thing you said about entrepreneur.
Absolutely. But It is attitude. It's when you walk in the door, you have a choice how you engage your people and how you engage your clients. Mm-hmm. Are you downcast and pessimistic? Are you lacking energy? Or are you the opposite? Are you engaging? Are you collaborative? Do you lift people up or do you push them down? I always believe that one of my strengths as a leader was always being very genuine in terms of the ability to walk into a room and to engage people successfully and honestly. And so those are things that our clients look for, the ability to talk to a president or talk to a director or talk to an advisor. The same thing in Communica, the ability to talk to a wide range of different individuals,
right,
and to relate to them.
Well, it's interesting because as soon as you walk in here, I always say, and this is a stolen kind of anecdote, is like either you give energy or you take it away. And as soon as you walk in here and you start talking to, you can just feel that energy.
But it comes from a good place. It comes from we've talked about the excitement that I feel every day for Communica, the excitement. I don't care how difficult that mountain is. Every step along that mountain, the views are great. And it doesn't mean it's not hard work, and boy, mm-hmm. is it ever hard work some days. But every morning, I look forward to it.
Well, let's talk serious about your business here for a second. Identification and risk mitigation, risk management, with your information management system that you have. Some people go, oh my God, that's not exciting.
Well,
for the people who work here, it's pretty exciting, your clients.
It's pretty exciting to our clients, and it's pretty exciting for one reason. Regulators are increasingly looking for evidence that you've done your job. And the number one shield from a regulatory management perspective is your stakeholder information management approach. Can you demonstrate who you've met with, what you talked about, what issues have been raised, how you're going to mitigate those issues, what commitments you've done, and where are you against those commitments? And that requires a level of sophistication that is exponentially grown over the last 10 years. You know that we've had over 100,000 hours of information management support for our clients. That is a staggering figure, particularly the fact that it's been an evolving practice. It did not exist 10 years ago. We formed the first group, and it's grown and developed into this magnificent service offering that we're very, very proud of.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, no joke intended here, but you're in that business that if you do your job right, nobody hears anything about it. If you do it right, but if in your industry, if somebody screws up, your project is in a lot of problems.
Yeah, it's in problems, and increasingly so. And that has been the single biggest differentiator over 20 years. Is that today it's all about engagement. It's about relationships. And it's about trust. Everyone knows that you can build a bridge. There are great engineers out there, and you can do so making sure that you're looking at the riparian areas beneath that bridge and you're taking care of the fish. Those are sort of now givens. But if you don't have the social acceptance to be able to build that bridge, you're not going to go anywhere. And so the whole concept of good project development is about building relationships, building trust, and moving things together that actually have demonstrable benefits, not only to the company and the project, because it's why they're doing it, but to the communities you're engaging.
So this is a little off, off the fulcrum kind of thing, right? But nowadays we're moving towards, everybody says, I'll just text them, or I'll just call them. Sorry, I'm going to email them or something like that. Listen, you can't build these information systems and stuff like that not being tech savvy. Let's be serious. You know your stuff. What do you tell young entrepreneurs, young business people about, I guess, picking up the phone and going to meet them or something like that? Now, you can't meet them face to face sometimes because of the environment, but what do you say? I'll just text them.
Good business is done through relationships. And if you have a very good relationship with a potential client or a client, they'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But if you don't develop that relationship, you're just part of that gray matter that it's out there. And so they might give you the benefit of the doubt, and they might give you a little edge by having a good relationship built on honesty and trust and performance. And so those are very important aspects for longevity. Text is a great form of communication, but I don't know a single piece of work that's ever come into this company because of a text. It's come in from hard work and relationships,
right?
And that is critical to the development.
Well, it's interesting you talk about relationships. That's the word that resonates the most with you. You had a good relationship with your CFO. You go back and forth sometimes on certain things. Your bank, your lawyers, we joked around a little bit about that in the first episode. So if you haven't seen that, please go back. Because the quiz is next week anyway. So that's part of the quiz. Mm-hmm. Relationship is big. Culture is big. Being an entrepreneur, never trading Gretzky. What do you do, talking about culture, when you do have a quote unquote a Wayne Gretzky here and kind of wants to leave? What do you do with that?
So I learned a lesson, and that lesson is that when someone wants to leave, they want to leave.
Yeah.
And you can try to keep people for as long as possible, and it's in the ideal world, people stay forever. But the reality in today's world is people move around. Mm-hmm. And so when you might be able to talk someone out leaving for 3 months, but they're leaving. Once you've made that sort of emotional decision and practical decision that you want to try something else, it's encouraging them out the door with really good feelings, then trying to hold them in and not allowing them to do precisely what you want to do, is build their dreams.
Right. Well, they become your billboard anyways. Yeah. Good or bad.
Good or bad.
Right. Okay, so this is part of the episode that, I don't know if I like it or not, depending on what happens, but the first part is rapid fire. Ready? Sure. People want to know, Mr. Ford, Senor Ford, okay? Favorite food?
Pasta.
Oh, everybody. What kind of pasta? Spaghetti. Now we're getting intricate. Pasta, okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, that's a tough one. I love movies, but I think my favorite movie is probably Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. I already know the answer to this. Favorite band?
Beatles.
And so name 6 Beatles.
I can name 4 right off the top of my head.
Right.
John, Paul, George, Ringo. Doug could be a 5th. But how about
Pete Best?
Sutcliffe.
Okay.
There you are.
And the reason I joke around about that is because he says, I said, who's your favorite Beatle? And you said, well, there's 5 of them, and you threw yourself in there.
Absolutely.
So I already knew you were a big fan. Favorite song?
Oh, that's tough. It's sort of like saying, what's your favorite pasta?
I never said this was going to be
They're all
easy.
great. But I would say one of my favorite songs definitely is Hey Jude.
Okay, because you're a Paul McCartney.
I like Paul. I think he's a tremendous magician. He is a magician.
He is a magician.
And a musician.
And you know what? I'm sure you read about this, but talking about business, boy, oh boy, if any of you guys, I don't want you to leave our little site here, but his dealings with Michael Jackson were pretty interesting business-wise.
Pretty epic. You know, there's a great book out on business that talks about, you know, how business is developed, and it takes a lot of effort. And one of the things they did was profile the Beatles at the early days. The Beatles, before they had that first big hit, worked in Hamburg and worked in all the nightclubs, and they feel that they had 10,000 individual concerts before they hit it big. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, they can play songs in their sleep. Mm-hmm. I know how that feels sometimes, but not about you, but I'm just saying, in general, being a musician, former musician, is kind of like, oh my God, you play them so many times. But going back to the Paul McCartney, Michael Jackson thing, because you have such a passion for the Beatles, my favorite part is when Paul McCartney inadvertently imitates Michael Jackson. And I just think it's kind of funny because he doesn't mean to hurt him, but he goes, all of a sudden, you know, Michael comes up and, hey, Paul, everything's all, you know, so what did you make out of that? Obviously a little bitter because I
think every artist doesn't want to lose control of their titles. And I think that he felt that he shared probably a little bit too much information. Michael was, amongst other things, a pretty shrewd business guy. Mm-hmm. And, you know, anyone that...
Do you think he took them?
I think that he didn't allow them to realize the full value of their catalog.
Well, the thing is that, and this goes really with business and culture, is the Wayne Gretzky leaving your company. They learned possibly everything they knew from you. And that's where Paul was a little bit upset. Not that I'm a Paul McCartney, you know, connoisseur, but his videos say, Michael called me about publishing, and then a few years later, had him. So that kind of goes back to our first question about culture when Wayne Gretzky leaves. Like, they are leaving and you've trained them.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of people over 20 years that have gone on to have great careers in other areas. And they may have well learned things from Communica. And that's great because we have a lot to share. And if they add to the breadth of knowledge out there about how to engage and how to communicate and the importance of information management, what's wrong with that?
So, you know, you always have to have a little fun. I was expecting Paul to be a little bit more clever. Maybe John would have said, you know, he got my songs, but when last time I visited him, I took the other glove. That's why he's only got one. but so we got favorite food, favorite band, favorite place to vacation.
Went on a safari in Botswana about 10 years ago, and it was beyond description. It's just simply one of the most magical things you could ever do.
Places you want to go visit?
Everywhere. I was a consummate traveler. We'd love to go a lot of places. Every continent has something unique.
So this is the part that I'm never sure. You get to ask me a question.
You finished?
Am I finished? I'm finished. I was done 2 hours ago.
God, I didn't think you'd ever finish. Have you enjoyed this?
This interview? Absolutely. I enjoy every interview. Okay. Absolutely. The reason I enjoy these is because in my past, I needed to interview people and keep it confidential, right? Because everything was confidential. And now I get to share great stories with people, and I don't have to, you know, make up stuff. So people will see that. That was an easy question.
It's been a fabulous journey.
Has it been fun?
Yeah, it's been fun.
All right. So we got Doug Ford from Communica, 20 years, count them on one finger, 20 years in business. They're doing great. Click below for any more information. Get in touch with Doug and his fabulous group here. And I know we joke around a lot, but congratulations. I really mean it. It's unbelievable what you've done. And thanks for having me.
Thank you.
In these great studios with the brick and everything like that. So.
Thank you, Bruno.
All right. See you guys next time. Well, you know what? That's pretty much all the time we have for this episode today. Thank you for tuning in with us. And you know what? Make sure you subscribe to our MegaPixx media channel so you will never miss an episode. And also, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. We have content almost every day. So thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you guys soon.